Mic test, mic test, mic test. Hi, I'm Brittany here with your art fail of the week, and to give a brief introduction to what you'll see today, because I know you're here for the cute cat. I have my cat Mercy pick the art supply that I will be doing a pet portrait of her using that art supply, and without further ado, here's the cute cat. Alright, so I've set up 4 different art supplies on this little easel. I'm going to put a cat treat on each of them, but I'll name them off before I do that because my assistant is waiting patiently. So I put down regular Pigma Micron pens, acrylic paint, markers, and that last one is a watercolor palette. I don't know if I showed these yet, but this is what she's going crazy over. Here's a distraction one. Okay, now which one? Look! Look! They're over here. Which one? Which one? I know my hands smell like them. Look! Look at these! Look! Oh. Okay, markers. So she picked markers for sure, but we're gonna see second option in case we can do a mixed media type deal. Apparently she just likes that side of the board. There's no more. You did your job. Good job. Mercy happened to pick one of my least used mediums for her art, but I was up for her challenge, and my plan was to get a really good sketch done that I then would use my light box to transfer onto actual nice Bristol marker paper to then use the markers that I have onto it. And once I had the sketch transferred, I then have that sketch paper to test out my markers by swatching them to make sure I'm getting the correct colors that I actually want to match her actual fur pattern. And over the years, I do have a wide variety of alcohol type markers. I have the super cheap kind that you can get at the bargain stores, and then I also have a supply from years ago when I got into trying out markers that are the Winsor & Newton brand. So I have a wide variety of colors and also grades of marker types. So some will be a little bit more streaky than others based on how much I spent on them. Kind of like the new trend right now is to buy the Ohuhu markers, which I do not own other than the water-based ones that I bought for my coloring book video, which I'll kind of leave a link for that if you want to check that out. But otherwise, my use of markers, I don't have a lot of practice with other than what I learned years ago from when I bought my first ever alcohol markers, which I never did spend the amount of money that Copic markers are, because I knew that markers would not be a prominent art medium that I would use. I am much better at the different varieties of paint. I think the most difficult aspect of this pet portrait was getting her stripes, because she is a tabby cat breed. Getting those stripes correct was difficult, and putting them in the proper placement that they are on her. I don't think I got them completely correct, but I got them close enough that it still looks like her and her fur pattern, because every cat definitely has a different and unique fur pattern if they're striped, or even if they're a tuxedo cat like my other cat, which I will not be doing this type of video with my other cat because she is not food motivated. She does not like treats of any kind except for the cat grass, the wheat grass that you can grow for cats. She likes that, but she's missing some teeth, so I have to hand feed that to her. So this method of picking art supplies would not work with her, but maybe I'll come up with some other video type that I can feature her in. One thing I ran into with her eyes, they're like very lime green. It also depends on the day. Sometimes they're like a darker green than others, but I don't have the range of green markers to get her eyes exactly right. I tried to mix in some yellow, but that didn't really help. So I needed almost like a lighter green to then mix, or if I would have tried to like swatch some blue and yellow, I maybe could have found the correct color match. But I just went ahead and did the lime green marker that I had. I think if I had more of a grasp of different marker techniques and more practice with the marker techniques, I could have gotten that like where it's slightly different hues in the eye. But because my expertise is not in markers as a medium, I kind of got hindered sometimes by creating the exact colors I want, both because I don't have the skill level and also because I don't have the wide range of colors for markers, especially with her gray coat coloring. I either ran into I had dried out markers because I used them too much previously, and because they're not Copics, I don't have refills unless I buy a whole new marker for that color, or I just didn't have the color in general that I really needed to match those colors as correct to her coat coloring as I could. And one factoid about both my cats is they both wear collars with bells, even though they're indoor cats. I think I've just trained them from the beginning of having them. I keep them really loose on their neck. And every once in a while we give them a little bit of a break where they can be stealthy and we don't know where they are because we don't hear the bell as they're running or walking. And this is the point where I pretty much embellish more and try to make a more fur texture by trying to draw little lines or do dots to show the fur pattern changes. And I think if I had like more of a variety of fine line markers color wise, I probably could have used that instead, but I was too afraid with the only slight fine line side of the marker that I didn't feel super comfortable because I'm always worried I'm gonna mess it up by doing too much. So I did like a happy medium with adding some fur texture, and also I kind of add more stripes that she doesn't really have just to make her fur not so flat looking. It just felt like there were portions that were missing things, and I just added some texture in there. And we are now getting to the end bit of this video. I just add a little purple base underneath her so she's not floating on a white page. I hope you enjoyed this video where I made a pet portrait of my cat Mercy using the supplies she chose for me. Please remember to give this video a like if you did enjoy, and also subscribe if you like art videos like this. I try to post an art video weekly and also some various short content. So I hope you enjoyed being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.